Good evening and welcome to all the participants. I take pleasure in welcoming Mr. Bhaskar Enaganti. He is our distinguished leader today. Please join me in welcoming sir. Good evening to you from ICFAI and all the participants in today's conversation.
Thank you.
I'm also joined by my esteemed colleague, Prof. Prasad. We will moderate this session together. And on behalf of all the participants, we thank you for agreeing to speak in our webinar session. And with great pleasure, we look forward to listening to you, sir. I'll take a moment to introduce you, sir. After that, I'll hand it over to you. Allow me to share my screen as well. This session is also going live on Facebook. So some of the participants will be joining from Facebook Live and remaining, they join here. And some of them join sequentially. But throughout these sessions, we have found quite involved participants in their questions, in their responses, in their chat messages as well. So I hope for this session also, we will have a very, very interesting round of conversations given the topic, which is very interesting. Sir, I'll share my screen now. Yeah, friends, today we are going to talk about online platforms for social good. What are the precautions and what is the potential? Mr. Bhaskar Enaganti will address this topic. First 20-25 minutes will be the talk delivered by the leader and followed by a Q&A session, which is going to be roughly another 30-35 minutes, which is jointly moderated by myself and Prof. Prasad. This is for you, Mr. Bhaskar Enaganti. Mr. Bhaskar is a serial entrepreneur and management professional with more than 25 years of experience in envisioning and building disruptive global products and technologies and digital transformation solutions for startups and global consulting companies in India and USA. Mr. Bhaskar is featured as one of the icons of Indian IT, which is a book written by Professor S. Shadagopan, Director of IIIT Bengaluru. Mr. Bhaskar is the founder and CEO of Socially Good, which is the world's first online engagement platform, bringing together the main stakeholders of the social sector, including nonprofits, CSRs, and individuals. As CEO of the online marketplace, Mr. Bhaskar is responsible for building and managing product ideation, market strategy, consumer experience, and investment management. In mid-2017, the idea of Socially Good was realized by Mr. Bhaskar and a team of entrepreneurs, including Mr. Prasad A, Mr. Sadanand T, Mr. Umesh S, Mr. Gokul K, and Mr. Arvind R. Mr. Bhaskar's tryst with technology and startups has been long and varied. He is the founder and managing director of Alliance Incorporation, a startup specializing in business integration solutions, later acquired by HCL Technologies. He is also the founder of and CEO of Glow Mantra, a startup developing recommendation and personalization technology. This is very hot, and smart digital assistants for the retail and entertainment industries. He worked as a manager at C-Star for Accenture Chicago, and as principal architect at Tata Motors, spearheading the development of Turbo Analyst, a case tool, which is India's first packaged software product for global markets in 1991. Along with his corporate journey, Mr. Bhaskar has always been working with social service initiatives. In 2007, Mr. Bhaskar founded the Manavuri Seva Samiti, Muchivalu, that is MAS, a socio-economic cultural NGO for holistic development of villages in the state of Andhra Pradesh. As you know, Mr. Bhaskar holds a BTech degree from the prestigious IIT Madras and a master's degree in system science and automation from yet another prestigious institute, IISc Bangalore. With this, I welcome Mr. Bhaskar once again, and I request all the audience to be ready to understand and lap it up, whatever Mr. Bhaskar is going to talk about today on the topic, online platforms for social good. I also would like to welcome Prof. Prasad, my esteemed colleague. He's having 3 decades of rich experience in the corporate world and academic and entrepreneurial world. So he's a combination of all the 3, and he's from IIT. He holds his BTech from IIT Bombay and his PGDM from IIM Calcutta. Welcome, Professor Prasad, to you as well. Sir, now may I request you to start your presentation, and we would love to hear from you. And thank you once again.
Thank you, Professor Sudhakar Rao. and I'm Professor Prasad. And it's a privilege and honor to be here and sharing a few thoughts on the most interesting sector called social sector. And thanks for giving me this opportunity to share these views, and also would like to explore different ideas from most of the participants. And this being an interesting sector, and where each one of us is a participant in our day-to-day life. So I would like to have a more of interactive session and see how we can make a difference to the whole world as a together. So once again, thanks to ICFAI management for having me and arranging this kind of a wonderful WiseView leadership conversations. I just wanted to begin with the kind of technology trends that's happening in the world, which most of us are aware of it, particularly some of them disruptive and latest technologies, which many of us know, the artificial intelligence, which is making a difference to our day-to-day life in many ways, and the IoT of things, where everything is becoming smarter and smarter every day, and trying to assist each one of us. And some of the other interesting technology like transaction or trust-based technologies like blockchain and cloud. Cloud is everybody is every minute and every second we are engaging with the cloud technologies today. And the other important technology that is coming out is the digital marketplace technology. It's been there for the last 15 plus years, but that is making a big strides in the many sectors and many industries and many walks of life that what we are going through that. So these are the kind of important disruptive technologies which is coming out, different business models and changing the market landscape and changing the competitive spirit, and more importantly, assisting the individual, the common man or a common person in each and every part of the globe. So that's what I see, that these are the disruptive technologies. And the other way to look at from the IT, which is trying to build the software for this global market in different forms. If you look at the software trends, particularly in IT sector, we are familiar with the project model, where we developed a very custom development for a particular enterprise or particular use, and building the whole software from the beginning. And they are more focused on the specific business functions. And they are also important aspect is they're always role specific. That is, only a travel agent can book the ticket for you, not yourself can book it. Or a ERP or enterprise world, bill of materials can be handled by a particular person in that role. So these are the softwares built for those roles from 90s onwards, which has got their own presence and going forward with that. But in the later part of the 2000, particularly 2005, the whole software industry moved to the product model, where everything that what we've been doing earlier was packaged as a product, whether the whole enterprise software is becoming ERPs and the whole app world, which we are familiar with every day, every minute. Yeah.
Would you like to share your screen, sir?
I'm sharing screen. Sorry. I thought it shared with us. Thanks for the first slide. Basically here, so one is the disruptive technologies, all artificial intelligence all through digital marketplace, and the software trends from the project to all the way to the product model, so as I was indicating it, we started this whole software by the IT sector in a project model. Then we moved over to the product model, where the ERPs for enterprise world and apps model for the rest of the users. These are all, though some of them are still role focused, but it mainly moved on to the user focus. That is, instead of a travel agent booking the ticket for me, I can book the ticket for myself. As a simple example, I'm just sharing it. So that's how the user model happened. These are the products which are specific to a particular enterprise, or it could be a group of customers, or even sometimes global products. Then came the big transformation in the software is the platforms, where platform is something where all the stakeholders, unique thing about it, stakeholders come to the platform and focus on what they want to do. Rather than providing a particular product or a particular app or anything, you provide a platform and then make the stakeholders. For example, Facebook, you go to the Facebook and find out your friends and engage in the way that you want to do. You go to the Amazon, look for the product of your interest, and engage in the way that you want to do, and do the consume in the way that you want to do. So all the stakeholders of the platform, or all the users, will be getting into the platform and engaging with it. That's a big transformation that happened in the software. So today's software is all developed around the platform models. Particularly this being very popular from 2015, where Amazon is one which is pioneered this whole platform for retail industry. And then subsequently, all other industries have followed. Today, you talk about retail, which is dominated by Amazon and Flipkarts and the rest of the models, and travel industry, education industry, insurance industry, retail, real estate, or pharma industry. You name industry, that pretty much is adapted this platform model and trying to make a big impact. And it has got inherent characteristics. These are all places, online marketplace, other app stores, for example, App Store, Google App Store, or Play Store. These are the things that are examples of this platform model. Here it's all about the consumer or a customer or a user or a service provider. These are the two players. There's no role focused as such as here. So these are some of the trends that we see happening in their own way and making a big impact. And whatever we are trying to do is a global impact. It's no more a localized impact that you can do. So that's where the platforms are the most important thing. The number of platforms that most of us are using it, are familiar with it. So then with this background, what we see is digital marketplace technology. Using that technology, the platforms are established in different sectors and making a big impact for each and every one of us in a day-to-day life. Now I'm specifically looking at the social sector, or the social good sector, where you see that this is a sector that is kind of unorganized sector, where the number of nonprofits are making an impact on various areas of social need. And number of people like you and me are trying to participate in that, and trying to fulfill our social service urge, and then bring in the kind of social change that we all want to be part of it. But when you look at this socially good sector or a social service sector, there are a number of functions that you need. Like people look for the NGOs look for a lot of funding, which could be in the crowdfunding model, or DIY campaign model, or peer-to-peer model. There are multiple ways to generate the donations, which is required for the NGOs. And the member management, volunteer management, event management, and the beneficiary management. And the other important thing is the corporate CSRs. So these are the functionalities that a typical nonprofit needs to engage with their stakeholders. The stakeholders are like people like you and me, the individuals in the society, whether coming from a rural or urban, or he or she, or old or young. All these people try to engage in the social activities of their choice. And in the process, as we understand it, we all live in the 5 different avatars. One is, I may be a donor, I may be a volunteer, maybe a member of some organizations, or I participate in various events of the social events, and I'm also a beneficiary of these services. So in all these 5 avatars, we see that individuals like you and me want to participate in the social services of our choice and be the part of the social change. So that is what the need that we have observed. But unfortunately, this sector is unorganized, and also it's one of the sector that is many people have not given focus to it. So based on our market analysis, what we see that there are a lot of point solutions to this function, but there is no digital platforms have yet to begin and establish in this space, as we see that. And that's where we see the opportunity and try to do some market research and make a difference to this world using a platform called Socially Good platform. And before going to the details of Socially Good, I want to see this, the kind of market. It is, as I said, unorganized and unaddressed market, and the market is huge. Just to give you some numbers, in India itself, we have a 3.1 million nonprofit. That is 31 lakh nonprofits, registered nonprofits as for the government of India. And almost 2 crore people are employed by this sector. And in the US, surprisingly, it is 10% of the workforce is employed by the nonprofit. There are 2 million NGOs or nonprofits working in USA. Like that, throughout the world, every country has this social service sector, which is a key social driver and also economic driver of the country. That is an important thing. It is not just a charity you're giving and taking it. It is a part of the economic driver. It is also a social driver. This is the important thing that we have to recognize it and see that. And as you see it on the right side, this market is a global and it's a very wide. As for our market research, we see that over 17 million NGOs are there in the world, which has the potential to serve with a $12 billion market size. Why I'm giving this number, that is the size of the market that is unaddressed and unattended. And more importantly, that is a much needed service that each one of us are looking for in our own lifetime. So that's where we have taken, based on this research and other things, we thought that we'll take we did some initial market survey, and then we thought we'll take the risk to establish a digital marketplace or a digital platform for these stakeholders of the social service to be part of it. So that's where it started, the Socially Good platform. So our platform is called SociallyGood.com, and our company is SociallyGood Technology, but we are all known as the Socially Good platform guys. What we see is, in the Socially Good platform, there are three important stakeholders: the individual on one side, and the nonprofits on the other side, and the corporates and the governments also another two other key stakeholders. But what we see is the individual. As I said, we participate with the social service in 5 avatars as donor, volunteer members, and others. So you should be able to donate, discover the campaign that you want to, and either you want to donate or volunteer or become a member, or you may be a beneficiary of that service. During COVID time, most of us were a beneficiary of the COVID services. And in the process, what Socially Good does for individual is that we help the individual to build his or her social karma profile. That is all the things that you have done. You might have donated somewhere, you might have volunteered somewhere, and you've been a mentor to somebody else. All these activities, as you engage with the Socially Good platform, becomes part of your social karma profile, that which you will feel proud about it. If you're a student, you would like to make it part of your statement of purpose for higher education. If you're an employee, you'll be happy to share with your corporate. And when you become a senior citizen, this is one of the things, a pride moment for you to share with your next generation about how this social activity that is the kind of potential and impact of this social karma profile. That is our unique contribution to individual here. The nonprofit should be able to create various social campaign, donation or event or voluntary campaign or beneficiary campaign, engage with the individuals and engage with the corporates for the CSR grants. And the corporates should be able to discover the NGOs can work for their CSR goals and enable employee volunteering and donation matching kind of thing. So this is what is the typical digital marketplace approach, getting these stakeholders together and make them engage on what they want to do and how they want to consume the services or and bring the social impact that they want to see. And on the other hand, I was saying, in the retail industry that we all know, Amazons and Flipkarts made a significant impact globally using the digital marketplace. Similarly, travel, you have Make My Trips and Expedia, so many of them. In commuting industry, your Uber and Olas are the digital marketplace for that service. Similarly, Policy Bazaar in insurance sector, Farm Made Easy in the pharma industry, real estate, logistics, education industry, all these industries adapted this digital marketplace. So what we thought is, this is a social service sector is the one thing which has not adapted this kind of technology and leverage the advantage of this marketplace. So our unique contribution to the social service sector is bringing the socially good marketplace for the social service sector. And based on our market research, we are the first online marketplace for social change in the world today. We are proud to share that with every one of you. And just looking at the problem, the social service sector, we see there are 4 or 5 important stakeholders, but the nonprofit and individuals and the corporates are the key stakeholders. Nonprofits want to focus on bringing the social change in a particular area, and individuals want to participate in it. One important thing I want to bring it to your attention is that individual like you and me, we want to do social service. It is your inherent urge to do that. Nobody is motivating me to do that. but there is no easy means for me to participate in it. That's one important observation that we made. So those individuals, we call it SRIs, socially responsible individuals. So these SRIs, we want to provide a platform so that they can engage and discover the social campaign of their interest, engage in the way that they want to engage, and from wherever, whenever, however they want to, and be the part of social change that they want to see in the society and the community around them. And in a summary, we want to make the engagement in social service as simple and satisfying for the individuals, and non-profits, corporations, all other stakeholders. So that's in essence, this can be achieved using this online marketplace technology, where the traditionally in the non-profit sector or NGO sector, face-to-face was the most prominent one. You go to the individual donors and other things, engage with it. Now, of late, emails and websites and social media channels have come in. Yes, those are the channels that we do, but our online marketplace encompasses most of those functionalities. That is the uniqueness. Second thing is, individuals come to the marketplace. You don't go to the market, Facebook does not come to you. You go to the Facebook. Amazon does not come to you. You go to the Amazon whenever you want, however you want. So that is the unique nature of the marketplace, where the stakeholders come together, explore what they want to do, engage in the way that they want, and consume in the way they want. Here, one caution that I would like to share is, whenever we say online marketplace, digital marketplace, first thing that comes to you is the buying and selling. Yes, there is a buying and selling, but before that, there is a lot of exploration happens, discovery happens, and then some people may just share the opinions. They may not even buy or sell it, or they may share, recommend the product to a service or other things to other person. So it is all the way to discovery and sharing and rating and consuming. All these functionalities are part of the marketplace. But unfortunately, we have some of these words are overloaded. Marketplace means they buy and sell. It is not so. You can, one example I can give you, there are a lot of matrimonial platforms. In matrimonial platform, when two people are trying to engage and getting into marriage, there's nothing buying and selling there. So just giving an example where in the social service sector also, there is a transaction part, but mostly they are exploring and engaging with the social cause of your interest and participate in the way you want. And if you are donating, of course, it results in the digital transaction. That's what I just want to keep that in mind. So using this, when you drill down into non-profit specifically, this is how we view it. Non-profit has the three major functionalities as we see it. One is they do the social service on the ground in the area that they have chosen and trying to bring in the social impact. But at the same time, they engage with all the stakeholders who are locally and globally distributed, the volunteers, donors, members, beneficiaries, collaborators, and all that. And the third one is, like any other organization, they also have a lot of back office, their HR and financials and logistics and other things. So in this context, what Socially Good does is, Socially Good adds this wing, this engaging with online stakeholders to their journey. So we are adding that second most important wing, engaging with the stakeholders, using the marketplace to every nonprofit that's possible. And we also align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This is a simple thing. And everything is done in a simple, what we call self-provisioning. One of the unique aspects of any marketplace is there should not be any training or anything. User or the consumers or customers should be able to use it on their own without dealing with the software, coding, or bugs, releases, none of the posting, none of them. You just come there and just as simple as like you go to Facebook, create a post and share it out. You go to Amazon, look for a product, or if I'm a vendor, I put a product of mine on and reach out to consumers. So that is how it should be. So the self-provisioning is one of the unique aspects of the digital marketplace. So that's the important thing in the social service sector. And these are some of the details. The way that the digital marketplace do is using the multi-channel. That is important thing is, user is not going to come to our website and see all the time. That was a good old era in 2005s and 10s. Today, you have to reach the user wherever he or she is. She may be in the social media channel, she may be in the browser, she may be in the corporate websites, or she may come to the Socially Good market kind of places, or wherever, or she may be, as simple as that, come to our own website, NGO's website. So these are the 4 or 5 different channels that NGOs have to reach out the individual, and individuals should be able to engage back with them. So you create, as an NGO, you create a campaign and promote it, and then individual sees that campaign wherever, whenever, however she wants to, and engage in the way that. So in the process, we call it a deep poet feature. We will help the NGOs to have digital presence with website and all these social media channels and digital outreach. You create a campaign, you should be able to announce it to the public. So it will go through all the channels to the people, and digital engagement. User or individual should be able to discover that and engage in the way that they want to do. And in some other cases, digital transaction also will happen. That's why deep poet feature. And all these things through done multi-channel engagement. Means when you are interested in something, the campaign should follow you wherever you are. So that is the uniqueness of this digital marketplace that is also very much relevant to the social service sector. These some of the statistics. We are fortunate to venture into this sector. We are one of the early players. As I said, Socially Good is the world's first digital marketplace for social change. And in the last 3 years, we have reasonably serving over 1,200 NGOs, both in India and US. And our 33,000 NGOs are listed on the platform. And we also, it's a subscription for NGOs. It's free to the users, but subscription model for NGOs. We crossed just 1 crore revenue in the last 12 months time. And we are fortunate to serve or assist the number of NGOs with wide range of things, village development to the health reason, maternal and child care for newborn babies, to all the way to the advocacy groups, and then some social disaster relief management and sponsored child kind of programs. So wide range of sectors. 11 out of 17 United Nations Sustainable Development categories, we are able to suggest that. And that is the power of the digital marketplace. You will be able to scale so easily, and you can reach out to the global market. It is not about providing a service to one person, one locality. So that's why we believe the digital marketplace is so apt for social service sector and making a difference. So this is a few points that I would like to share with you, just in the context of Socially Good. We see it as a very strategic opportunity to bring in kind of far-reaching impact on the social service sector, which is a global, and the whole digital marketplace approach is a global model with a built-in scale. So today, sitting in Bangalore, we are able to serve the consumers, our NGOs and individuals in India and US. So that is the power of it. And there are a number of inquiries from UK and Africa also, we are able to fulfill that right now. And as I mentioned, it's the world's first online marketplace. It's a privilege and also risk and responsibility. Our goal is to not impact 1 or 10 or 100. By end of this year, we want to impact around 100,000 NGOs. By 2024, we want to impact our 1 million, 10 lakh NGOs globally. So why we are able to visualize it, dream about this kind of big impact, global impact, because of the approach, the digital market approach that we are trying to bring into social service sector. So, and the other important thing is the social service urge. So this is something that you and me, we feel every day. You want to do donation, you want to assist somebody, you want to do something, not that somebody is motivating you to do that. But when you want to do, there's no easy channel. That's what we wanted to provide. We want to make Socially Good is a deep platform for fulfilling your social service urge in a way. And in the process, we help you to build your social karma. And with these karma profiles, we want to build a social karma network. In other words, if I'm looking for a professional profile of an individual, I go to the LinkedIn today as a destination. So same way, we want to make the Socially Good is the destination for you looking at your individual social karma profile. So that is the power of this social karma network, which is just beginning to do that. In next 2 years, we'll be able to realize that one in big way. In general, I would say that with this kind of Socially Good platform, which is driven by the digital marketplace, we hope to make a, fuel the spirits of the social service, not only in local communities, across the globe also. That is the power that it has, and that is the kind of things we are confident about bringing in the coming years. So another important thing is digital platforms have a lot of challenges and a lot of precautions that you have to do. Particularly when we are talking about the social service sector, the adopting or embracing of the digital marketplace by this organized sector like the unorganized and the unaddressed sector like social service sector is a big challenge. And we have seen part of that one, and we are hope to make a big difference in the coming days. And digital market goes with another important thing is digital content monitoring, because somebody is putting the content, somebody is consuming it. You would have seen a lot of latest news in the Twitter and Facebook when somebody put a post and what are the impact that happened. So the same responsibility holds good in even the digital marketplace in the social service sector also. There are associated liabilities, but very limited liabilities. So, but we as a digital marketplace, you have to be put a checks and balance for automatic content monitoring and then controlling that one, and be ready with the kind of liabilities that you may have to face that. The other one is, as I said, for individual, we want to make sure that this platform, we wanted to fulfill his social service urge, but that's not that easy right now. We're seeing that there are a number of challenges, but it is something that we can overcome based on our own experiences. We see that, but this is one challenge. Fulfillment is a challenge in the social service sector, where the user has to be happy and satisfied with what we are doing. The other one is non-profit world. The interesting observation that we have experienced made and experienced is that the non-profit world is full of passionate individuals who are trying to bring in social change. By virtue of doing that, there is some high-level expectation that they have, whomever they are working with. So we are able to meet their needs today, but their expectations are moving every week. The moment you get a donation for 1 lakh, they wanted to get 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs to 10 crores. Similarly, they want to do everything in the world. So because of that moving expectation, how do you manage that moving expectation? How do you meet the NGOs on the non-profits requirements is one challenge, because the marketplace, their expectations also changing quite drastically. And lastly, and most important thing, any marketplace or any consumer-oriented or user-oriented has to have a gamification to that model. That gives the fun and also ease of using it. Since the main users are the individuals in the community, it could be young or old, or rural or urban, or you can gender across gender. People should be able to engage with any of these online services as long as there are some interesting gamification. So that is one important thing we have to keep in mind. Making this digital platform for social good should be well gamified and make the experience and enjoyable, and make them see the kind of social change they want to bring in, and ensure the satisfaction to them at the end of it. So these are the big some of the challenges that we see that the social good platforms have to be aware of it. So this is the just essence of it. I'll be happy to go into the details of any other topic or any other item that we discussed, or if you have any questions, we'll explore it together. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's an amazing presentation, and it has given us a greater insight into the world of social good. All the while, we have been only sensitized to a fewer aspects that we could see. It is actually a big elephant. Either we have seen a tail or a leg or probably the front side. But today you have given us an insight into understanding the entire landscape. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation, where you have put together how, of course, all of us are enjoying the benefits of these disruptive technologies like AI and blockchain and many others. And especially you have captured how the trends in software and IT have moved from project model to product model to actually the platform model. That is basically role focused to customer focus or the user focused models. I think that's an amazing capture out there. But in this world of priorities, in this world of fast-paced life, how one can actually stay focused for doing, even individuals, how they can deliver social good by aligning with some of the organizations like yours is a good insight as well. The landscape is very big. The total unorganized market, as you have captured, sir, is also very, very big in terms of the number of NGOs that are prevailing. Even when we look at within India, within some of our cities, there are no platforms, offline platforms also for them to actually come together. For example, business or industry associations like FICCI, CII, they also do not have a specifically focused NGO platforms. It is there, but not in a manner that it is so pronounced where we can exchange information and seek help, collaborate, work together, and deliver the aid wherever we would like to. So that's such a collaborative association-related exercise is pending because no initiatives have been there, and more so on online as well. We don't have any marketplace kind of a solution which you have pioneered. So thank you very much, sir. And we were only thinking about how one can participate, how one can come together and one can deliver. But the challenges are multifold. The challenges are multifold from each stakeholder point of view. If you look at the challenges as you enlisted are multifold. It is going to be very, very interesting for us as we move forward in listening to you as responses to various questions that we have. Our participants have raised lots of questions.
Thank you.
And without any much ado, we would like to start the Q&A. I once again welcome all the participants who have joined from across the country and who have asked wonderful questions today. People from academics, people from industry and social world, all of you who have joined this evening, a warm welcome to you once again. I will now request Professor Prasad to start the Q&A session with the first cluster, and we are left with another 30 minutes or so. So we will straight away get into the Q&A. Professor Prasad.
Thank you, Professor Rao. Thank you, sir, for a wonderful micro session on what platform business is and its specific relevance to the social world. And I think you took us across, as people who may not have too much of understanding on this. I think the platform business and the evolution into that, you have given us a wonderful session. That is the first thing. In terms of what our stakeholders will be looking at, first is I think this world is growing. The world of social is growing. So ESG is also contributing to it. And organizations are interested, individuals are interested, technology is enabling. So I think there's a lot of interest in a topic like this from individuals, from those who are in the management profession, and of course those who are from organizations, CSR, whichever one looks at it, and for potential entrepreneurs. I think a lot of people today are also looking at social ventures. Yeah. And so I think this entire momentum is building up, and that's where we are trying to position this particular conversation, sir. Now, coming to the question, sir, the first question is about you have had a lot of experience, technology, business, various organizations. So what took you to Socially Good? I mean, you've reached a certain mission now. And what took you? What are the drivers which took you there, sir?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is the one question that even posed to ourselves. Each one, I was at the crossroad many times also. It's also 20 years ago, I got into the startup world. My first startup was in 1999. And after that, we had a second startup, which got acquired by HCL Technology in 2008. Then I did one more startup on the consumer world, but what was smart assistant, like what Siri is doing on iPhone. We are one of those 3 players in the world trying to do the similar thing along with the Siri those days. And they got acquired, we could not get acquired. That's the difference. But that is the kind of technology initiative that we've done. And then I've been, from the last 20 years, though I worked for the enterprise before that, I've been working with this, passionate about these startups and trying to identify the opportunity and trying to bring in some kind of impact locally and globally. That is what my passion. And I'm fortunate to work with my colleagues who are also having a similar passion. We have a group of people brainstorming different topics and different ideas and different ventures. So way back in 2015, I was personally involved in, from 2010 onwards, a number of NGOs. We've been assisting them, but they're not able to take any help from any of this IT or technology side. That's what we observed it. So that's where in 2015 or 16, a number of NGOs have approached us to ask for some help. Then we took a step back there. Rather than helping that one NGO, 2 NGO, is there something that there is a need, or is there something that we can bring in a technology and make a global impact is our main driving factor. So as we gone into that, just like you, we are all surprised that the sector is so big. And each one of us is a part of that, knowingly or unknowingly. So as we see that the numbers that the Tom and Sam and so on are coming, It's astonishing that, and it's not only in India and globally. Just for your information, in the Bangalore where I'm staying right now, there's 1.5 lakh NGOs working in the city, which is more than the number of tea shops in Bangalore. So, and in Hyderabad, over 1 lakh NGOs are working. So that is where when we saw that, and there's so many people, passionate people are doing it, but on the other hand, individual like you and me, you also want to participate in it. But there we found that there's a huge gap. So that's where we did some good market research and then took the risk of doing something in this sector, because this is unorganized and there is a mindset in the social service sector, and whether they will be able to adapt to this technology, will they be able to consume it, and will be able to fulfill their expectation. These are the big questions that we have. But with all the things with my team, we took the risk of jumping in, and within the 2 years, we could realize that, yes, we can make a big difference to not only in India and globally. And that's how the Socially Good started. And then we've been working with a number of organizations, Seva International USA, Seva International Bharat, and Youth for Seva, and so many big organizations. And then we could meet their expectations. And at the same time, we can extend a similar digital engagement model for small NGOs, where a group of few individuals trying to make a difference to the educational difference to a particular locality in as well. We are able to do that. That's where the digital marketplace fascinated me, which I have past experience, and my team also has experience. And we see that there's a need and the unaddressed market segment, and which is global in nature. These are the factors we consider it. And end of the day, any startup or anything is risk oriented, and that is our DNA. My team DNA is we took a lot of risks in the past, and that's how we jumped in. So now it's the last 5 years. The platform is out and we are able to bring in. And as we meet some of this expectation, the expectation also changing. And that's a big challenge. And that's what we have to work on next 2 to 3 years. We'll be able to make a big impact in the globally. That's what I believe.
Thank you, sir. I think there is a lot of structure as well as a lot of coincidence, which seems to have come in, one with respect to your purpose, what you got into, the experience that you had, the passion that you had, the work that you did with the NGOs, the need that they announced, and then the structure from which it evolved, and finally you've landed where something on which there is a very huge expectation. Yes. Thank you, sir. It seems to have fallen into place.
That's right.
Right.
Any startup venture is very natural that way. It's not that you can plan and so on. When the opportunity comes in, you observe it, take the risk that is required to get in. Unless you jump into the swimming pool, you will not know the swimming. In the same way, unless you jump into that particular venture, it's very easy to talk about it, talk through about it. But when you realize it and try to make the users happy, then you will see that whether your senses are in the right direction. I'm glad to share with you that, yes, whatever risk that we have taken, whatever observation is falling in place, and we are working with the industry challenges as we listed out. Thank you.
And I think you kind of nailed the coffin with the most important aspect of it, which is the risk, which converted the opportunity into something that is actually delivering value.
Yes, that has to be the DNA of any entrepreneur.
Yeah. The second question is part of it. You have responded. You've laid out the social landscape in India. What is the potential and what is it in the world? When you look back over the last 15, 20 years, that was not the case. Things have changed. And there have been a number of driving factors which have enabled huge numbers of people who are interested in such activity, whether they use technology or they don't use technology. And now you're coming in and positioning a technology solution which will help all of them. But at the same time, there is also a huge landscape of people and which is growing. Now, what are the drivers which are there today, which may not have been there perhaps, when we were in 20 years back or 15 years back? Can you give us some insight into what's actually pulling this in that particular direction?
In the social service sector?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this is one thing that this doing social services has been there culturally and across civilizations. It's not today's phenomenon. And every person at the age of from 2 to all the way to the graveyard, we keep being part of the social service as a beneficiaries, as a donors, or volunteers. That's been our nature. It's part of this society as such. So it's nothing new about it. But what we have seen, whenever a new technology comes in, all industries try to adopt it, but only some industries succeed in adapting to it. and leveraging it. When credit card came into the market, not many people use the credit card to do the bank transfer because they have a fear that the credit card may go into the ATM, it may not come back. So this is what the user adaptability, mindset, inertia, there's so many factors. Just because technology is good doesn't mean that it will get adapted. And that is more so in the social service sector, what we observe. And it is taking time, but till 2010, people were very much keen, very much happy and keen on dealing with a few people locally and trying to make an impact and be happy with it. But today's world is well-connected, interconnected across communities, across the nations, and you are no more isolated as it was in the past. So the need has become that how do you be part of this well-connected network and make the difference that you want to do? And your choices are also varying. Earlier, you were happy with assisting one student in your neighborhood school, but today you want to make a difference to a girl child in somewhere whoever is in need of that. So this is the kind of technology which can bring in that kind of need of your interest and help you to participate in the way without disrupting your day-to-day life. That is the most important thing. When you are dealing with the users, you cannot preach him or her, or you cannot train him or her. The person should be able to adapt to what you are trying to do in the way that most naturally, in the way that she wants to do it. So this whole digital marketplace, you have to make the experience, the digital experience due to mobile technology, cloud, and so many AI and other technology. We are in a position to make it as simple as for every common man in the society. So that's where the relevance of digital technology become more for social sector. With that, we feel that we can make a huge difference. So that is the key part of it. Today, it is the NGOs are ready, individuals also ready to adapt to this technology and be part of the social change. Just to give one example, when the COVID last year happened, one organization, SEVA International USA, had 120,000 donors in a matter of 3 months. Now, where were they? They were there, they were doing service. But when we had a Breathe India campaign, and it is so appealing to them, the 120,000 donors have participated in this campaign. So what it highlights to me is that people want to be part of it. If you can make it simple and easy, and also if you can add a gamification to that, it's even make it more enjoyable. That's what the people are looking for. And that's what the NGOs are also looking for, and the corporate government. I think we can make that kind of, we can ensure that kind of environment in the years to come.
I think that is very, very encouraging. The need was there always, and there have been a lot of people who want to do. And now I think what is there's a power disruption at my end. I think it will get over. But yeah. I think what people want to do now is that everybody wants to connect, and you are kind of putting it across that you can do that with technology, and you have made it possible with technology. So what that means is, like the IoT sitting in some remote corner, somebody can be sitting in a remote corner and still be able to drive the entire value chain of what they actually want to do, which is magnificent,
Yes.
Thank you, sir. The next query, sir, is about, can you highlight one or two impactful initiatives which have taken place on your platform?
Yeah, probably we can talk about the COVID, which is a very recent phenomena and a global phenomenon which impacted each one of us. During last year, we could assist over 30 plus NGOs who are doing wonderful COVID-related initiatives, all the way to the distributing the kits, the COVID kits, the pandemic times. And then post-COVID, there are a lot of beneficiaries. Some people are orphan kids, and we had migration workers, and more importantly, the emotional health of many people were at stake. So there are a number of NGOs who wanted to take up that challenge and make a difference. We were happy to assist them through Socially Good platform, bring in a significant impact in not only India and the US. So that's what I was giving example of SEVA USA, that it could generate so much funds, and then install the concentrators and all that, and help the people on the need of the hour. So we were happy to be part of this kind of initiatives, particularly the health initiatives are the one. Similarly, educational, and then you have the livelihood, and then you have the environmental evangelists, they were using it. We are able to assist those people. So there's a wide range of impact we could do that. In essence, as I was saying, 11 out of the 17 United Nations SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, we are able to impact, like zero poverty, no hunger, environmental thing, and good education, education, and then well-being. These are the categories we are able to make that difference. That's where, and as we can see, in the last 2 years, we had more NGOs coming on board and taking the help of the socially good and bringing the kind of social impact that they wanted to see. So that's what our experience is. Today, as we speak, over 1,200 NGOs we are onboarded on the platform. People are able to, both from India and US. And as recent as one is the Ukrainian one. When the students were evacuated, some NGO wanted to make a difference. Within 48 hours, we could enable all the things for them, and they were able to successfully assist those needy students who need to be evacuated from that Ukraine-Russian war. So these are the things. So we can react to as the NGO want to focus on a particular area and respond to the society. This platform like Socially Good is able to assist them and fulfill their dreams of bringing the social change. So that's been very wonderful and also satisfying for most of us. That is a point here is, unlike in other previous startups, those are all high-tech or highly enterprise-oriented. Whereas Socially Good is one thing that is, yes, it's a technology startup. We are not a charity organization. We are only technology platform for the social service sector. And we are able to do that technology challenges and address that. Same time, is self-fulfilling. Every day when you see somebody is getting benefit out of it, somebody is able to make an impact on it, we can see those success stories every day, more and more. So very, very fulfilling.
Thank you, sir. I think you have also highlighted through this experience, one is the mission-oriented, which happens always, and then you have something which is some kind of a theme, like you mentioned in COVID, and there is a surge, and then you move on to the next theme. And I think this also is something which will keep carrying on in terms of how the nature of kind of ventures that people want to do. Other things, sir, is that I think the SDGs have helped. People are focusing on it, and I think also the ESG and the laws which are coming in with it, as well as the CSR, all these are coming into place, and I think this will get a bit more organized.
Yes, yes. In fact, SDG, one of the things they're trying to define a common nomenclature, language, and perspective and impact analysis. So most of the governments have adopted it, including in India, particularly not only central governments, it has come up to state government. I think in the coming years, it will come to the district level. So that's a kind of global phenomena or changes happening. So our goal is to assist the NGO to align with those things so that it becomes easy for them to reach out to the people, make them understand what they're doing, what they're not doing. That kind of things becomes easier with the UN SDG models. And we are very keen on that. And we are helping the NGOs to classify those campaigns in those categories, so easy for individual to consume it.
Thank you, sir. There are many questions in this cluster, but I'll stop with one question, and that is, at this stage, is again in the context. What is it that your platform provides that, and this is coming in the chat box, is that the other big tech players in social media do not provide? Is there how do you differentiate this for a layman?
Yeah, you see, each digital market has its own purpose. Social medias like Facebook is for to hang around with your friends online. Twitter is the one which you want to have followers and you want to follow somebody. So each one, WhatsApp is for instant messaging or chatting with the people that you want. So like each platform, Amazon is mainly for online. So like that, it's not that they cannot do this or that we cannot do that. That's not. Whenever you want to, you have a digital marketplace approach, when you have to focus on a domain and you have to be specialist in that domain. Just because I have a digital marketplace, I cannot be the online retail store. That's not an easy thing. Amazon knows what the hardship of establishing a digital marketplace for shopping. So this way, the domain expertise and the technology matching is what is an important thing. Yes, in Facebook also you can reach out to people. You have a donation campaign. That is or volunteers. These are the point solutions are there. But when you look at the social service sector, the main stakeholder, the NGO and individual, how do they engage on that? That's what we are trying to specialize in. Just like the way Amazon is pioneered the social marketplace for shopping, and Uber has done it for the commuting technology. We are trying to make that kind of innovative approach, adopting the innovative approach for the social service sector. That's all it is. There are many point specialists are there, that many of them are maybe moving into the marketplace approach, that we can see that it is natural. But the market is so big, it is not a single player game. It's going to be a multiplayer game, and we welcome more people getting into the social service sector using different marketplaces and serve the society, the individuals in the community and the NGOs that they are trying to do that. So it is an open challenge for everybody. It's an open opportunity for most of the entrepreneurs. So I would like to welcome those people and see what are the other things that we do. As I mentioned in my presentation, how do you introduce the gamification in the social service sector? So it's not a simple thing. Gamification I can introduce in so many other sectors which are already established. Here, these kind of open challenges are there. How do you personalize the social campaign to one individual? You may be interested in education or health, or you want to support a village development. You don't want to be bombarded with all the social campaigns that's out there. So how do you personalize this social campaign to your interests and your behavior and make that? So this personalization technology and the trust-based transaction using blockchains are the more importantly making sure that what are the impact that you are doing is visible to the user and ensure the satisfaction, gamification. These are the big topics, big challenges, and that is what we have to make a difference. So it's just enabling a donation is not the end to the whole game. So it is a different sector like any other sector, but it's a kind of unassumed and unorganized sector. I think we can bring in a big digital transformation using this digital marketplace approach. One example and one referenceable example and motivating for me, before Uber came in, taxi services were there. We are all able to do that. But and it's the most unorganized sector in the worldwide. The Uber approach and the technique has just transformed that industry. It took a while, and that's the kind of opportunity that we are pursuing right now. So we can bring in that kind of digital transformation to social service sector. It is not about the donation, it's not about volunteers. Overall transformation to the social service sector is where we are. That's where the socially good is different from the social media channel. Social media is for a specific purpose. You hang around in Facebook and you follow or tweet something in Twitter. Both are not the same. And there's another important model is, the whole thing that whatever we are doing in the world today can be classified into two models, I believe. One is need-based services, other one is urge-based services. Need means I want to travel from A to B and you have a travel agencies and everything. Where urge-based is, Facebook is urge-based model. You want to hang out with your friends. Facebook is not telling you, you are want to. Similarly, you want to have followers and you want to follow somebody, it's urge-based. So like this, there are a few business models urge-based. And what I personally believe is that social good social sector is urge-based. You want to do the social service. I'm not here to motivate you, come to you and say that why don't you help this student or this one. It is you, inherently is in your DNA. And you want to fulfill that urge of doing social service any time and every time. And that is the kind of opportunity that we are pursuing here. And it is not just about a transaction or not about donation. So that's where this sector itself is different. Yes, each marketplace can do a point thing. Like Amazon also can do a donation. Facebook also can do donation. But that is not the point. Here about how do you ensure that the overall experience in the social service sector is the main challenge that is in front of us.
Thank you, sir, for a very elaborate answer. And I think what you've done is not just responded to the question, you've added two more very powerful frameworks which are in operation today. I think one is the view of competition, which is no longer what it is, what Porter has mentioned, or look at it from that view. And you're saying more the merrier in order to develop the landscape.
Yep.
That is the first thing. And the second thing, sir, is I think this need versus urge. You have given another dimension to economics. It was need and want. Want is with an economic backing, and now you're giving a behavioral backing and calling it an urge. So I think this is also something which is adding to the discussion. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's important. We have to recognize that the social services is urge-based, not need-based. Need means when a user wants to travel from this one, you use a travel agency or online marketplace for make my trip and other things. Or you want to shop around, you can go to the marketplace of Flipkart and buy it. And the shopping it falls into both need and urge. Some people become habitual shoppers. So that becomes urge. But when it comes to need, basically you want to consume something and you go to that. So that's where this retail or e-commerce models, particularly the retail sector, has both the thing. It can be made as a need and urge. So this is an interesting analysis. It's important for us to see where we are. When you see that your business model falls into the urge, and you have to understand those aspects, and people will come to you rather than you going to them. Whereas a need-based, you can go to the need. Once you identify the need, you can promote it to them specifically. So there's a different, these two models are very interesting. I'm fortunate to see that this falls into the urge model. Urge has got a natural scale. You wouldn't have seen a single ad for Facebook in the last 15 years because there's no need for them. Individual come to them. So when your business model in the urge model, that is a unique thing that we have to capture it. That means the challenge there is you have to ensure the kind of experience so simple and so intuitive and so fun-oriented, then people will come and use it. So those are the challenges that we have to fulfill it here.
Absolutely. I think you've added on to the discussion in behavioral economics.
Yes.
And with that, I hand over the session to Professor Rao.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sir, it is extremely interesting, and we are only halfway mark and we have completed our time. But I request you to respond to a few more questions that we have so that we respond to most of the representative questions that we have received from the participants. And I'll open up the mic also to a few of the participants who can directly ask the leader here.
Thank you.
Sir, it is like this. The questions that I'm going to focus are going to be simple and execution oriented. And these questions are from a practicality point of view. Based on your solution, your digital marketplace, if someone, if you would like to discover the donors or philanthropists who would like to contribute to this platform, how would you discover them? How do you identify them?
And the first question there I have, who are you? You are an NGO or individual or what are beneficiary?
Individual.
Individual. So when you are an individual, and then you want to get donations for some of your need. Is that what, if I understand your question, right? Yes. You are a beneficiary there. I may be having a health challenge and I need some support to fulfill my health or educational need or some other need. So there, the one is individual should be able to create a campaign of his own and drive it through the platform. So that is one of our agenda items in our roadmap. Individual could be an individual entrepreneur or a common man. When he has a need for it, he should be able to say, this is what my need is. Can you help me out with the thing? The platform should be able to discover those, it could be the sources. It could be other individuals who will be supporting you, other NGOs who may be supporting, or corporate maybe, and bring that fund to the individual. So that is the power of socially good platform. You can bring it. So essentially, you're saying that if I want to contribute to this kind of platform, you will identify me. No, you found the need for it, and you come to the social good platform, make a campaign creation, and reach out to the people. And platform will find out the matchmaking with the right sources and bring it to you, and then you engage with them that they want. Got it. That's what the NGO is doing today. NGO has some purpose, and they create a donation campaign or volunteer campaign and reach out to the people. And in the process, it reaches out to the individual, and it also reaches out to the corporates. So how is your organization actually enabling some of those schemes, the government schemes, may be targeted to the same population? For example, you take any particular subsector, if that is the target population, some of the government schemes are aimed at helping them. So how would you enable these schemes work properly for the same target group? Is there that kind of role envisioned in your scheme of things? That role is there, but being a startup, we cannot bite more than what we can chew. So what we began our journey is connecting the individual and the community with the NGOs. Right. And then recently we added the corporate CSR. The next thing we'll be going to the government. They're dealing with the government. See, government has a lot of funds and there are a lot of intention, but dealing with them is not an easy thing, as we all do. Any government of anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. So what we are in our roadmap is we start focusing on individual NGOs, which we have done to a great extent, and then continue to evolve it. The corporate, the CSR functionality we just added, and that we are going to prime it in the coming year. And dealing with the government is one thing that we'll be priming it in the 2023 or 24.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, we can enable it, but the dealing with them is not an easy thing, which we have to know a lot more. And as a startup, we cannot afford to bank on the governments and their working models to fulfill that one. So once we get a critical mass with the individuals, NGOs, and corporate, then automatically we'll go to the government. It is a natural platform. In my slide, that socially good thing, as you see in the top right, the government is one of the important things because they are the strong supporter and a big contributor to the social service. So we cannot ignore it, but we cannot work with them now because of our startup status. That's all. But it is definitely in our roadmap.
Excellent. It's on the annual. I think a startup's life cycle, the stage at which you are, probably you have few things to focus. And as you move forward, I think that enablement also will happen in the years to come. Wonderful, sir. So one more question. This is a common question that most of us have in our own minds. For example, when a charity is made, for example, there is some donation or a charity is made, how does your platform ensure that it has reached its destination?
So this is the most important factor for an individual who want to voluntarily comes and donates to a particular thing, or you may volunteer for time, or you may donate in kind also. In all these things, he needs to be ensured the basic things like transparency, accountability, and there is some kind of satisfaction. Now that's where we envisioned it. The social karma profile is a key part to that. That is, as I donate to something, it becomes part of my social karma profile. And every engagement I do through Socially Good is a live engagement. It's not that I donated and forgot about it. The update from the NGO or the beneficiary should be continuously coming into that. That's what we try to ensure it. If there is no response coming from the NGO, it is our responsibility, Socially Good responsibility to respond to the donor. That's number one. Number two, using some of the technology, blockchain, is very relevant to this particular context. That is, when you donated it, you want to see a trust-based, transparent-based model. And blockchain can play a big role in ensuring this the trust-based and transparency-based communication or a transaction. I think we are looking at that, and that's doable. Again, as a startup, that is in the roadmap for us.
Wonderful, sir. What you mentioned is that through blockchain technology, we can bring in transparency through which we will address this trust issue. Now, every donor or every participant in this social service sector would like to ensure, not only knowing, but would like to ensure that it reaches its destination. And this has been a question that we have asked ourselves and everyone for quite a few number of times. And that is a major impediment to actually doing it again and again. Absolutely. And therefore, once you do it or achieve it through technology, as you mentioned, I'm sure it will be great for everyone to happily participate and fulfill their urge to contribute for social good. Amazing, sir. Thank you very much on that. So the next question is about a lot of online platforms. It is believed that they invade into our privacy on one hand, but online platforms do a lot of good. In this case, for social good, we can capitalize the potential of online platforms. So between compromising on your privacy and the other end of doing social good, how does one strike a balance? What are your solutions and precautions for this?
No, when it comes to privacy, there's no option. You have to ensure it. We can't even, it's not a question of balancing. You have to ensure the privacy of the individual. And that's where we feel, again, we have, these are the challenges that we have thought through, and we got our social karma profile is one of the key element in this whole thing. The social karma profile, as I engage and donate for something, or I engage with something as a volunteer, all the things are recorded in my profile. And everything I will be dealing with is through my social karma profile. So that is the karma profile is like my profile. And then I have full control of how much to be publicized, how much to be kept personal. That's what full control on me, with me. So it's, if you want to showcase all your social activities, up to me. And the most important thing, this whole thing has to be hosted in an internationally known place. So right now in Socially Good, we use AWS and Google Cloud. These are internationally acclaimed IaaS platforms, so which ensure the security, availability, accessibility, and hosting. So that's how we want to bank on. This is not the area that we can specialize to ensure with your privacy aspect of it. But the more importantly, control should be given to the individual. What to make it private, what to make public. That's one aspect. And the communication and the host security about the information is a responsibility of the platform, which is banking on the international players like Google Cloud or AWS.
Wonderful. So wonderful. So you're already following the internationally acclaimed platform.
Yes, there's no compromise there. That is the first thing that we have to ensure it, because at the end of the day, I may be donating 1 rupee, but my privacy is the utmost importance for me.
Yes.
So, and you're dealing with the end users and public at large. Privacy is something. It's a very subjective matter, but it all matter. What matters is how it is, how he feels it, how she feels it matters. So you should give the control to him and enable the rest of the things. One other thing is WhatsApp. Keep saying that privacy or security. And iPhone, the latest message is iPhone means privacy. So you can see that the importance of the privacy, particularly in social sector, is even more important. And there's no compromise on that. We have to do that. Only way as a startup we can ensure that kind of is by banking on the internationally acclaimed players and where the terms and conditions are published widely.
Wonderful, sir. Ensuring privacy is not an option. It is a compulsory, mandatory value that this organization carries forward. And not only this organization, every organization is pursuing that value, like the examples that you have given. So one common man problem is that, for example, you donate some money to a particular NGO and they have your telephone number. That's what is happening right now. They have your telephone number and they take that telephone number and give it to a few other NGOs and they keep calling you. One, either from the first beneficiary of an NGO, which will keep calling you, or some unknown NGOs will keep calling you because you are a potential donor. I think there is a limit to donations also as a common man, because yearly once or twice or thrice, someone would like to contribute a particular amount of sum of money.
Yes,
and ultimately what happens is they keep on, because it's an easy target and the number is shared across them. There is a network of NGOs. Probably it is like one of those financial services front-end teams that share your contact numbers and they keep asking, would you like to have a loan or would you like to have this benefit or that benefit? Similar thing has now gone to the level of NGOs calling up saying, we are from this foundation, you have donated last time, would you like to donate again? Or some new NGO asking us. It is a reality, sir.
That's reality, and in fact, absence of digital marketplaces has this problem. So when in the absence of digital market, how can I reach you? Only through your mobile.
Correct.
And email, I know your email, but I will not have patience to go through the email and all. So in this case, when you have a digital marketplace approach, you don't have to share your mobile number at all to begin with.
Okay.
So, and it is in your karma profile. You decide what you want to keep it in the karma profile, and that's how people reach you, number one. And it is not that they are trying to reach you. They say that this is the campaign that you are doing. And you, when you go to the social good platform, you will see what is your interest and engage in the way that you want to do. So it is not, is it through phone number or other things you wanted to engage, and it's your preference. It's the end of the day. Some people want to change their phone number and not share their phone number with anybody else. That's how we should do. But to your first point, if that phone number has already gone into somebody and somebody else shared with it, then no system can solve that problem. And is trying to do something that at least the people should not be able to reach you out and you have unsubscribed. So that's one way to address that problem. But as a socially good or any digital market cannot solve the problem of somebody sharing your phone number and they're trying to reach you. There is no other way that you can do that. It's only the unsubscribing model that you do. But you have a choice to begin with whether to share what communication channel. In fact, you don't even have to share your email to anybody else. For example, in Facebook, you don't have to share your email or phone number. So that's what they mean. So those models are there. It's a question of how, when you adapt to these marketplaces or the platforms like this, most of your privacy requirements can be met as you want it. And most important, that should be in your control.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome, sir. That's a wonderful, wholesome explanation that you've given to this query. Sir, I would like to take a few questions from the audience at this stage. We would like to invite Mr. Benedict Parmanand. He's from Bangalore. Mr. Benedict, if you're there, we'll open the mic for you. Otherwise, the question I'll read out, sir. So in the meantime, if he's there, he can also interact with you. What services do NGOs who sign up get? Do you help them afford your services? I guess the participant is asking about affordability of your services or providing some additional services to make them afford you.
Yeah. So these services are all part of the platform. We are not providing any specific service to one NGO or side. Everything is available. They are packaged in a different plans. There is a starter plan which is free. There is nothing. Small NGOs can come, create a donation campaign, warrant, and basic functionality is already free, and you can go start using it. Lifelong free model for NGOs. But if an NGO want to have your own websites and the mobile apps and multiple other channels, and you want to have some advanced functionalities like a chapter management or do-it-yourself campaign, these are our program management. These are the things that will be coming in the basic, standard, premium, and custom plans. That's where you can subscribe to a higher plan. That's number one. Number two, you may choose with any of the plan. For whatever the reasons organization may want to scale up, you can upgrade it to a higher plan. Or for some reason, if the activity is low, you can downgrade it to lower plan. So these flexibilities are given to you. At the end of the day, you can unsubscribe to the platform whenever you want without any reasons. So these are the unique aspects of the marketplace. It's not only socially good as such.
Yes.
In Amazon, you can buy a product, you can return the product without any questions asked. Simple.
Yes.
So same way here, you can come on board, free models are there, and subscribe and higher plans are there. Depending on your need of the hour or need of the day or month, you can subscribe to that plan, use it. And if you are not using it on a monthly basis, you can unsubscribe it or downgrade it to lower plan.
Great, sir. Wonderful. So there's another question, probably it is partially addressed already, but Mr. Arun Kaul says a very important aspect is trust. How do you ensure that the beneficiaries are all genuine and not spurious? He's talking about the beneficiaries being genuine.
Yeah. So here, currently in the service sector in India and US and other places, what we have seen, the beneficiaries are managed by the NGOs. So you have to trust the NGOs who are giving the beneficiary. You are not openly going to the market looking for a beneficiary and trying to help them out. That model has not evolved yet. That may come out someday. But the thing is, the beneficiaries will be provided into the platform through the NGOs. NGOs have some 10 students who need to be sponsored child kind of program. There are some students who need a medical help. There is an organization called Right to Live. They focus on the health and education requirement of students and young adults. So when those beneficiaries approach the NGOs, and they will create the various campaigns on behalf of them and drive that, and the NGOs ensure that the trust, transparency, and credibility of the beneficiaries. So you will not be able to deal with the beneficiary directly. And there is no way the system also can ensure that you are a genuine beneficiary at this point. But later on, we'll see that there is some models that are evolving. There's something called social certification model or social recognition model. That is 10 of your friends say that you are a genuine beneficiary. With the endorsement, you can support them. So that is kind of social certification is another model, but that will be evolving in the coming years to come out. But today, the beneficiaries are supported through NGOs.
Wonderful. I think the model of peer-reviewed or peer-rated
endorsed model, yeah, endorsed model, yeah.
Yes, I think that looks like very optimistic and nice. Well, once it happens, I think that'll be great. But today, largely, it is through NGOs that you identify the beneficiaries and not directly on the platform. So that's the answer to the query.
And most importantly, after finding the beneficiary, you have to ensure that they get the service. So only NGOs can ensure that. Otherwise, you'll see a lot of fraud incidents that somebody comes that I need 10 lakhs and you donate it, and the person disappears. Nobody can take the accountability for that. So that's why that is the current model. But later on, as we discussed, the social certified, social endorsed models can evolve and then meet the beneficiary directly. Maybe 2 years down the road, I hope it can come to that.
Excellent, sir. That has been a very good conversation. If anybody else has any questions, you can raise the hand, but I'll move forward. For want of time, I would like to summarize and thank our leader from Social Good today, Mr. Bhaskar Enaganti. I think you should rightly be called Sri Bhaskar Enaganti, and Sri stands for socially responsible individual as an epithet, as a title.
Absolutely. I mean, each one of us have a Sri.
No, in general we have, but I think you have taken a lead and you are a pioneer in creating this marketplace, which not only looks at the size, but also the impact. While there is opportunity, as you have rightly mentioned, that $12 billion market across the world, and with so many NGOs that are in play, they remain untapped. And that's where one can look at the size of the opportunity to create social impact is really, really big. And therefore, someone like you who has been a serial entrepreneur who worked in technologies, especially in personalizing technologies as well, you have it is called reincarnation in some way of getting into the social service sector and then establishing this organization. It's a great thing, sir. We are extremely fortunate to have you today with us. Some of the important takeaways that we have from this session is that keep abreast with the emerging technologies. They have a lot of potential to do something called simplification, making it easier for you, and also gamification that retains your interest for participation. Taking that spirit from these emerging technologies and the changing platforms, changing models of business, I think for a social service sector also, if you apply that and make it again simple to participate, easy to use, and use gamification in the same to enlist your interest of the participant, yes, we have a great way to move forward. I think that is the first and most important takeaway. The other thing is that the greater urge in the human beings, the social good urge that is there in your DNA, that we need to tap into. On one hand, harnessing technologies, on the other hand, harnessing the potential to do good already within human beings. I think making these two meet is like a marketplace in one sense, and also apart from the other constituents that you have talked about in your model of the marketplace that you have created. It is a laudable goal. It is a very, very impressive goal that what is Amazon for retail today and other aggregators and platforms for other businesses, you would like to be the social good. Socially Good as an organization would like to be a platform for all the NGOs, all the people who would like to actually do something for society. I think that's a very, very laudable and impressive goal that you have taken upon yourself. That's pretty interesting, sir. The other factors is that we are very happy and we would like to thank you and acknowledge you that you've been able to assist several NGOs during the COVID. That's in the recent past. I think this country and many other countries around the world have barely recovered from the impacts of COVID. And it is important to highlight and appreciate the fact that you, along with various other NGOs, have rendered to many people in India and abroad. Especially you have mentioned your collaboration with the Seva of USA. I think that is very, very interesting. We wish that through all these measures of volunteers, of managing the services, event management, and everything which are now happening in isolation, these are in silos, you will be able to bring everything together, and also crowdfunding and the opportunity of tapping into the sharing economy. I think that's, you mentioned in the initial part of your presentation, there is a huge potential there. On one hand, crowdfunding, on the other hand, sharing economy. And I'm sure through this platform, we'll be able to realize the potential. We wish that you will definitely succeed in the social karma network, which you're planning to create, apart from the numerical targets that you have of having 1 million NGOs part of your network by 2024. I'm sure these initiatives that you've already kept with, and also the goals that you have, which you put on the board, I think everything is moving towards creating this world of a lot of people, like individuals and organizations who are wanting to be part of this social service sector, will get a big fillip to participate in a meaningful manner, in a very transparent manner, in a manner that is also enjoyable in a way. In the sense, there is acknowledgement, there is feedback, and therefore my participation would have actually enhanced. Only a techie like you could have thought about this and merged both the worlds. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for ensuring that such a model is in place already. And we are happy that you have shared your knowledge and expertise with our participants and all of us at ICFAI. So, sir, we would like to thank you from behalf of the management at ICFAI, all the participants, and also the students and the community of academicians that we have. Some of the senior faculty members had joined who raised a few questions as well, and faculty members from other institutes also have joined, and some members from abroad and various other cities in the country. We would like to thank them for their patient listening, and this wonderful presentation will stay with us for a longer time to come. We will keep reading more about this space as newer initiatives are emerging. We'll be closely following Socially Good. At this stage, I would like to make a big mention of the fact that Professor Bharati of ICFAI Business School has helped me connect with you. I would like to thank her for this amazing, valuable contact, and it has turned out to be a wonderful session, sir. We would like to also request you to join us for our digital street project. For the benefit of others also, I would like to mention that Digital Street Project is a digital transformation exercise aimed at benefiting street vendors across the country. We have tied up with a German NGO, and we are conducting consultation programs to cover at least 1 lakh street vendors across the country, maybe probably around 5-6 cities, starting from Delhi, Gurgaon to Jaipur, to Bangalore, to Hyderabad, Kolkata, so on and so forth. We have received a very good mention from the government of Telangana as well. I'm sure other governments also will support us as we have embarked on this journey. And people like you, sir, will be able to guide us and help us in reaching out to these street entrepreneurs and how they can better utilize some of these digital networks for earning little more money than what they're currently earning. I'm sure Digital Street will be a success with your inputs and your participation when we do it in Bangalore in the first week of July. We request your
privilege, and it's a wonderful initiative, and we'll be more than happy to assist this Digital Street initiative and bringing its impact to the millions of beneficiaries who are in need of the thing. And it is something that is very fulfilling also to all the people. And thanks to Dr. Bharati and your management to take up that kind of initiative. And definitely SociallyGood can contribute and assist in multiple ways to this particular initiative. And we partner with you in bringing it to the light. Yeah, definitely.
Great, sir. Great. Your assurance has emboldened us. We will definitely move from one city to another with guiding lights like you being part of us. Thank you very much, sir. But one more very important point that you mentioned, and that will be the highlight of the day, is that risk-taking is in the DNA of any entrepreneur, whether he's a social entrepreneur or a commercial business entrepreneur. I think that's a very, very important trait, because ICFAI focuses on 3 important platforms, that is innovation, technology, and entrepreneurial mindset. And in entrepreneurial mindset, we simply define it as ownership and risk-taking as 2 major characteristic features. And without risk-taking and without ownership in whatever you do, whether you work for yourself or you work for others, it's not going to be successful. So you have epitomized that fact that risk-taking is the DNA of any entrepreneur, whether it is social entrepreneur or any other business entrepreneur. We'll go home with that message, sir. Thank you very much for this session.
Thank you, and it's a privilege, and thanks for your wishes, and also would like to engage on an ongoing basis with the ICFAI Institute and with all of you, and bringing this kind of social transformation to, or digital transformation to the social sector. I think that's a big challenge, and we are fortunate to be one of those early players, or maybe the player, to bring in this kind of things, like what Facebook has done it for the rest of the world, or other digital markets have done it. I think it's an opportunity out there, whether we do it or somebody else, it has to be fulfilled. It will be fulfilled. So now we have the privilege to being and pioneering that one. And that's where we look forward to working with your organizations and taking your help. And together we can make a big impact across the country and across the globe, sir. And thank you once again for having me here, and this wonderful session, and a nice, very casual and very informative session, and is a more of an interactive session, which really enjoyed it. And thanks for your particularly summarizing of the thoughts. So as you and Professor Prasad summarized it, it really helped me to, kind of digest it and reinforcing what we have been doing. And thanks for this kind of encouraging and support discussions. Sir. Thank you once again. Thanks for all the participants.
Yes.
If any questions also there, I'll be happy to
I will
engage on with each one of them and take their help. And it's a collective exploration. It's not that we know everything about the service sector. We just ventured into it. I think, but each one of us, we are a Shris and we are also a social human being. And we have a lot more experiential things and also what we call looking forward, thought-provoking ideas also there. Would like to engage with as many people as possible, and collectively we can make a difference.
Wonderful.
So I'm happy to receive those questions and engage with the people as you want.
What I will do is I will write to you with some of those questions which are still remaining unanswered. The second thing what I'll do is I will share the summary of this session. You can go over it and make some suggestions or modifications, if any, and then we will publish it for the social good, for the benefit of everyone. We will also publish the link to the recording of this session after you have gone through and cleared it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking to a pioneer who is using digital networks for creating social change, not just in this country, but around the world. We have enjoyed conversing with Shri Bhaskar Enaganti. You will also enjoy a similar session which is coming up next week on July 1st. We are going to connect with Ms. Apurva Purohit, and it will be at 4 p.m. on July 1st. And we will share the communication and details in due course of time. But do come back and let's keep learning, and let's keep also learning whatever we have learned more today in terms of the space of social sector, social service sector, and how our karma quotient, seva karma quotient can actually be built up with the help of leading lights like Shri Bhaskar Enaganti. So thank you very much. See you next week. Do take care and keep becoming socially sensitive like what Socially Good has done and as we have learned today.